enrollment in the fall of '07. So in your revenues for '08-09, you'll start to see some of that income. We will claim for superintendent, transportation director, and what's that called? Human resources management, 20% time split. In the fall of 2008, and you'll start seeing that revenue in the fall of 2009, in the 9-10 year.
And that'll be at 80%?
Well, I think they're going to be at 80%, but that's how John Kraft and I both understood the email, but we just need to email Sue McCready, and she's been on vacation, so. That's what made us think that we probably need to just pull John's part of his job into that human resources, and we need to go ahead and collect for it, because if we wait until next year to do that, we're just losing 1 year's income, and it may be only 60% of 20% split.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
60% allowed to pay 20 and you end up with 5.
Yeah. But in this arrangement, it would more than pay for the position. We do know that. So these will be things we're going to need to look at. I did tell Chris that I talked to every school in our conference, and every school's seeing their fund balances headed down toward taking a decline or a decrease. And one of the superintendents called me, and we talked for a long time, because he feels like his is really out of control. And he said, we're small enough and he said, we're tight enough the staff. We don't have the staff to reduce. So he said, we're not sure what we're going to be able to do. So.
Any other questions from Frank on our financial report?
Move to approve the financial report as presented.
Second. Seconded to approve the financial report as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills. Any questions on the bills?
What's the payment to the Iowa Department of Human Services?
We collect Medicaid reimbursement for our special ed kids that are Medicaid, who have Medicaid eligible services, and we get the check directly from Medicaid, and Iowa law says that DHS is eligible for about 45% of what we collect as a Medicaid agency. They don't do anything, they just collect 45%.
Sounds like a state agency.
Yeah.
Perfect. Typically government.
And then eligible services would be kids that have Medicaid numbers, that have individual education plans or IEPs. Teacher associates, depending on what the role of the associate is. Sometimes what we can do is reclaim some of the salary for the associate. I just met with the Medicaid lady last week. We have 5 student IEPs that we're going to amend so that in the fall, starting in the fall of '08, we'll have 5 additional kids between Sac and the Lake Building that we can start claiming Medicaid eligible services for. You might see a bill in there for something called Claim Aid. I don't know if you, and that's the agency that works through our Association of School Boards, and they actually do all the processing of the documents for us, and I think they get like 3% or something. So. Right now, yeah.
Any other questions on the bills?
I move we approve the bills.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve the bills submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Any additions or corrections to the agenda? not, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to reports, administration. Mr. Coon, go first. Since he's here, we will turn it over to Mr. Gene Coon.
My name is Gene Kuhn. I'm your alternative school teacher. I've been asked by Mrs. Krutop to come and describe what I do at the alternative school and maybe the services that I provide for your students as well as the WLBA students. The alternative school program, as some of you know, I took over the program for Frank Kraft. Some of you may have known Frank Kraft. I had the, as I mentioned at the Lakeview board meeting, I always have to give a lot of credit to Frank because Frank really, I mean seriously, he helped me into this, he mentored me in for about the first 4 months before his passing on. Every day I needed some advice, he said call me, and I did. So I think I got a pretty good start. I stayed pretty much the way Frank was set the program up. Frank set the program up, and I've continued with the concept of credit recovery, meaning that you have students who are short credits for graduation, and they're in need of these credits. Typically, they're juniors and seniors. They might be short 4, 5, sometimes as high as 15 or 16 credits before they can graduate, depending on the particular need of the student. These students will come to the Flex Ed Center and work through a program course of study based on competency-based education and acceleration, meaning that they have to demonstrate competency prior to moving on, and also they can accelerate themselves as quickly as they can possibly get through their curriculums so that they might complete a semester's worth of work working full-time during the day or in periods of time anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks. Now that's hard to imagine, but I've explained this to many people. You'd be surprised at how a student can dedicate themselves to working for 6 to 7 hours a day nonstop on one subject and how much they can get done. I think there is a big misunderstanding of the alternative school student, which I need to set clear right now. They are not the least capable students in your district. They are by far, I would say, the highest concentration of the most capable students in your district. The problem is they are at times just reluctant to achieve their goals because they don't see, they're more immediate gratification kind of individuals. And the idea of competency-based with acceleration means that they can satisfy that need that they have for immediately achieving goals and quickly accelerating themselves through their coursework. And this gives these talented young people the ability to work through their curriculums rather rapidly. If you have questions at any time, don't hesitate to interrupt, please. This average student is, like I said, a junior or a senior. However, within the last 2 years, I've dropped with Mr. Litter and Mr. Olhausen their needs. We've dropped that down to sophomores. And in some special situations, we've even taken freshmen. And this year, I even have an 8th grader at the alternative school, based on special needs only. All the students are at risk. They fit a certain profile, who an at-risk student is. If any of you are familiar, I'll just briefly give you an outline of the typical at-risk student. They failed more than 2 classes. They're in danger of not graduating with their class. They're at age level but not succeeding. They might have drugs or a history of drugs in their life or their family's life. They might have, if they're young women, they might have children. They might have been held back or retained or in danger of being retained. You just name it. They might have missed more than 10 days of class in 5 classes due to sicknesses or whatever other situation. So obviously they're in danger of not graduating.